The overall situation surrounding President Trump's attempted takeover of the D.C. police is a legal and political standoff. While a federal judge refused to issue an immediate block, she also cast significant doubt on the administration's authority, indicating the law does not grant the president the power to simply take over the police force. This has created a temporary compromise where the D.C. police chief remains in charge, but the administration can issue directives through the D.C. mayor. The core of the issue lies in the interpretation of the D.C. Home Rule Act, which allows for presidential control during an emergency, but doesn't specify the extent of that control. The city argues its sovereignty is being violated, while the administration claims it's addressing a public safety crisis. The ongoing legal battle will likely set a major precedent for the balance of power between the federal government and the District of Columbia. The core reason behind President Trump's attempted takeover of the D.C. police is his administration's assertion that the city is in a state of a crime emergency. The administration has cited what it claims are rising crime rates and a need for a more aggressive federal approach to law enforcement in the nation's capital. This move is also seen by some as a way to circumvent D.C.'s local sanctuary city policies, which limit the cooperation of local police with federal immigration authorities. The legal basis for the president's action is Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act. This provision allows the president to take control of the police for federal purposes during an emergency. However, the city's legal challenge argues that the current situation does not constitute an emergency, and that the administration's actions go far beyond the limited authority granted by the law, infringing on D.C.'s right to self-governance. The judge's initial decision reflects this legal ambiguity, forcing the administration to rephrase its directive to fit within the confines of the law. The ongoing legal and political conflict over the D.C. police force has several significant consequences. Most immediately, it creates uncertainty and confusion within the police department itself, as officers are caught between directives from local leaders and the federal administration. This can potentially compromise public safety and undermine the effectiveness of law enforcement operations. Beyond the immediate impact on policing, the dispute has major precedent-setting implications for the District of Columbia's right to self-governance. The city has long fought for more autonomy, and a federal takeover, even if temporary, is seen as a direct assault on its home rule status. If the administration's actions are upheld, it could open the door for future presidents to exert control over the city, eroding the democratic rights of D.C. residents. It also sets a dangerous precedent for the use of emergency powers by a president to bypass local authority in other cities. Resolving the legal dispute requires a judicial and legislative solution. The immediate path forward is in the federal court, where the judge has already pushed for a compromise that respects the D.C. police chain of command while allowing the federal government to issue directives. The ultimate solution lies in the legal challenge itself, as a definitive court ruling on the scope of the president's authority under the Home Rule Act would clarify the limits of federal control. A long-term solution would be a legislative fix from Congress. Since D.C. is not a state, Congress has ultimate authority over the city. Lawmakers could pass a joint resolution to terminate the president's emergency order, or more comprehensively, amend the D.C. Home Rule Act to remove the provision that allows a presidential takeover. A more permanent solution, and one that D.C. residents have long sought, would be for the district to be granted statehood, which would provide the city full autonomy and prevent any future president from attempting to seize control of its police force.